So I talked about if I would reconcile, I should say, with my narc mother. Um, but I'd like to extend the question, I think, because I think it would be interesting. Would I ever reconcile? Why do I keep saying it that way? Would I ever reconcile with my golden child brother? Okay. Now, I've made a few videos of him, and so, if anyone cares to look at it, it's got Golden Child in the title. Um, Again, at this point in time, I think no. Let me explain. As I said in another video, I do think that the golden child role is often assumed to be something where people are victims and they don't realize they've been coerced into this role, and so you have to have sympathy. My point of view in the video was that they do know what they're doing on some level, and that they're also benefiting from it, right? Much better to be at the side of the devil, right, than to be in his path, and that's what a golden child chooses. So at this juncture, I'd have to say no, because again, when things extend into adulthood and when there's an understanding that what's happening is seen, because that requires some background info. I remember when I first moved out, like 1920, I don't remember, but young. And I remember I moved out and I went back to visit home for whatever reason. And my brother was like, "We need you to come back because, she's going off." And, basically alluding to, I don't remember his exact words. He's like, "Without you, she's going off." Let's just say he said that. Um, and in that moment, my ears pricked up because I'm like, oh, so you understand that I'm the emotional regulation punching bag. You understand that, okay? So I'm 19, 20, which would make him about 13 years old, okay? So fast forward 20 years later, he's still in his golden child role. If you have that level of discernment as a 12, 13-year-old kid, that means you know what's up. That means you know it's wrong. When you continue in this role all the way up, into an age in which you can step away at any point because legally you are your own person, you are your own man, and you stick around and do all the things my brother has done in the name of being the good one, I feel like that's deliberate. You know, I've, as one does, I've thought a lot about, the family I cut out of my life. As we do, we think about it a lot. Um, and it's amazing. The more you think, the more truths you uncover, right? But I also project a little bit. Like sometimes I think about, okay, what happens in the future when mom is gone and my brother has no choice but to stop being his son husband because she'll be, pushing up daisies. What happens then? What happens when the source of triangulation is no longer there to stir the pot and keep the shit going and keep the adversarial energy going? What happens then? What happens when he comes and finds me when he's 50 and wants to talk, or if we run into each other when we're both older, or whatever it is? You know, I've imagined this scenario. I've imagined him knocking on my door. I've imagined him sitting at my table. I've imagined all this. I've even imagined him taking ownership for some of the ways he reacted to me, some of the ways he's been cold to me, some of the ways, they teamed up, and I even think I had a dream about this, actually. And in my mind's eye, and I have a pretty wild imagination, in my mind's eye, I could see me sitting there, allowing him to say everything he's got to say, getting up, shaking his hand, and then showing him the door. Because again, there gets to a point with people where there's too much bad blood. With him, the bad blood was, of course, the triangulation. But I noticed when when I was at my lowest point, I noticed his behavior. I noticed the ways he tried to sabotage things for me. I noticed the ways he took any opportunity he could jump on to jump on my back. And this is at like the worst period of my life. Everything had fallen apart. My girlfriend dumped me. I got in trouble. I mean, just a low point. I made several bad decisions and paid for all of them. And at this low point, what family should do is buoy you and lift you up. And my brother, whom I bought cleats for and did XYZ for, decided to kick me when I was down. Decided to take my car that could not be driven joyriding, and the tags were expired. Meaning, if he would have been stopped, my car would have been impounded, which would have been another expense on top of legal expenses that I had at that point. Um, so it just showed me this person means you harm. This person means you harm, and that harm was so deep and the intent was so obvious that even 20 years from now, if I see this guy, it won't be hatred. It won't be, I hope you die or something crazy like that. It'll be recognition, maybe a head nod and a goodbye. And if he wants to have a conversation, I'll listen, but I don't know if I'd have much to say. I don't know, maybe I'm odd, but I think I'm the type of person where if it's over, it's over. And if I've explained something to you, like that's the thing. I'm transparent. I wear it on my sleeve. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm very open. If you hurt me, I'll let you know. If you make me happy, I'll let you know. If I'm indifferent to you, I'll let you know. Um, but I tried to talk to this guy so many times about what was going on in our home, the dynamic of our home, about different ways he could do different things to liberate himself. And I even showed him all around town, try to get him out the house, get him from just being up under mom. Get him out the house. I showed him all the little spots he could take his girl and all these things. That's a person trying to broaden your horizons, excuse me. But every time I turn around, you're trying to hurt me or waiting to jump on your chance to hurt me. So, again, what are your thoughts? If you had an opportunity to reconcile with the golden child, would you do that? Would you not? Just curious.